Is anybody out there?
Mark Radcliffe. 1FM. Oh, yes.
This is Radio 1, live from Manchester. Welcome back to Duglas Stewart.
It's great to be here again.
Oh, one could almost believe you in that sincerity. So what have you been up to then? Is that your chocolate bar there? Did you bring that with you?
Yeah, they didn't even supply me with a chocolate bar for coming on the show, so I had to bring my own.
Oh, typical.
Yeah, on that.
Right, yeah, I know, yeah, I had to keep that quiet about you. Right, so what have you been up to then? You were going to do a Brian Wilson gig with Sean O'Hagan from the High Llamas and that, but you were poorly.
Yeah, I was stuck in bed with a bad cold, so I couldn't make it down for that. But I watched the documentary and I had lots of fun watching that. I watched it twice in a row.
Right, yeah, because you're a big Wilson fan, aren't you?
Yeah, and he had that kind of, what do you call that disease where you stay in bed for ages? He suffered
Oblomov
from
syndrome.
That. Yeah, he stayed in bed for about 10 years.
He did, you're right, actually. And he didn't cut his hair or his beard, did he? And he finished up looking like George Best, too.
Only bigger.
And yeah, it takes some doing. Although I understand George Best has shaved his beard off.
Oh, you can't do that, Georgie Best.
I understand so.
Oh, dear.
I don't know.
Makes him look much younger and smarter.
Right, well, nice. Right then, so what have you got for us tonight? What's been happening to you that you're going to regale us with?
Well, later on I'm going to be getting lost in the Buckfast Triangle.
Right.
And also I'll be talking about the continuation of the Bellsall Beat baby boom, which is going on right now.
Yeah.
Because, of course, I'm the kingpin of the Bellsall Beat, as probably people know.
Yes, right, yeah. Anything else about you and your friends' babies and a bottle of wine?
And you noticed all these things come from my hometown. But I do a lot of research. I don't just stay at home and talk to my friends about what they've been doing.
Right.
I'm also going to be talking about the successful growth of the Scottish film industry.
Oh, yeah.
Which has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
And also maybe Daniel Johnson, who's a musical favourite of mine, but nothing at all to do with Scotland, so I don't know why I'm talking about him, but I like him.
Well, you're right, it's okay. So there you go, international potpourri of cross-cultural references from Duglas Stewart. What?
I'm going to be doing something about a bus stop near my house later on.
Fascinating. Right, welcome back. Still to come, we've got Douglas Stewart with news from north of the border, Will South reading from Cock and Bull, the Bedsit Survival Guide, and more fret-melting, plank-spanking masterclass pyrotechnics from the Ungwy Monster, the Ingwy Mill Street, the Ungwy Malmut, the Jeff Becker Blevins June Boy Lard. Blistering. Massive coverage in the papers today on this business of the Strasbourg court condemning the SAS killing of 3 IRA terrorists on Gibraltar in 1988. But of all the column inches devoted to it, undoubtedly the most telling contribution to the debate comes in the Daily Express under the heading, "The Big Issue, Was the SAS Right to Shoot IRA Gang?" under which a number of people give their considered opinion. The first one being, who do you think it would be? Northern Ireland Secretary Patrick Mayhew? Well, not quite. Jerry Adams? No. John Major, Michael Heseltine, Governor of Gibraltar at the time, Sir Peter Terry. Well, close, but no cigar. So who then? I'll tell you who. Peter Stringfellow. Peter Stringfellow? What, that Peter Stringfellow, perpetually tanned Club Supremo with the orange face? Yes, that Peter Stringfellow. I mean, honestly, as far as I can make out, and judging by his appearance on Vic and Bob's Shooting Stars, he seems like a perfectly affable and reasonable fellow, insofar as anyone with a hairdo like that could be called reasonable. But of what interest to the nation is a discotheque owner's opinion on this topic? I mean, whatever next. The big issue. Should NATO station tactical nuclear weapons in Eastern Europe? We asked TV weather girl Suzanne Charlton. The big issue. Should the Israeli cabinet be handing back control of the West Bank to the Palestinians? We quizzed TV racing pundit John McCrick. I mean, who gives a toss? It's pretty sad when national organs of communication give room to people whose opinions just don't matter. What do you reckon, Lard?
What?
Right, Douglas Stewart is with us tonight, our cultural attaché from Scotland, and you've brought something for our perusal.
Yeah, I've brought the top popular drink from my area. I live in a place called Bellsall, which is part of the Buckfast Triangle. And Buckfast Tonic Wine, which is interesting to know what it says in the bottle. The name tonic wine does not imply health-giving or medicinal properties. So why is it called tonic wine then? Anyway, it's made by these monks in Devon, but 70% of its sales, believe it or not, take place. That's wrong, isn't it? Come from.
Occur in.
No, something. The Bellsall, not the Bellsall, the Buckfast Triangle. Gee, I've had too much of this already.
Right, okay.
And that's only like 3 towns in Lanarkshire in Scotland, which is miles away from Buckfast Abbey. And recently, the strange thing about it is became a kind of trendy drink. It used to just be kind of nutters that hung about street corners wanting to fight you.
Right.
They used to drink it. But now it's like the art student types and the posh kids all drink it to get them a bit more kind of street, you know.
Right.
And its sales have went up by about 50% in just the last year with this
How
growing
expensive
phenomenon.
is it? How much is it? If you got a little bottle of
For
it.
a little half bottle, it costs about $2.50, and if you buy a full bottle, it costs about $3.50. So I bought 2 half ones because
It's like the food
Very
program,
sensible,
isn't it?
eh?
It's like the food program. It's very, very educational.
Very similar.
Carry on.
Very similar.
And it's really strange because tomorrow night's episode of Rabsy Nesbitt on BBC Two is about his pilgrimage to Buckfast Abbey as well.
Right.
And the youth programme Passengers were up interviewing me about Buckfast, and I'm a good person to interview. I'm like Peter Stringfellow because I haven't drank since I was 18, so they obviously wanted someone who had a really informed opinion on it.
I could see you with a Stringfellow sort of leonine hairdo,
I've got
actually.
the right colour,
You
right
have
colour
got
of hair.
the right
Just need to
colour.
grow it a little bit.
Yeah,
So
a little lot, I would say.
one of the other strange things about this, it isn't actually made at Buckfast Abbey. It's actually some cheap French wine which we just add gear to there and stir up and then sell it.
Are you absolutely sure about that? Because that sounds
allegedly.
that sounds actionable to me if you're wrong.
That is exactly
Some
true.
cheap French wine and they add stuff to it. You're honest.
Allegedly. No, it's very good French wine and they add some stuff
And
to
they
it.
add some
Tremendous
secret
stuff.
ingredients
And
to
actually,
a fantastic recipe to make it lovely.
And I know this is hard to get in other parts of the country, so I came up with this idea with my little chemistry the other night. I'd make my own.
Right.
I can't believe it's not Buckfast alternative brand for, and I thought I could tell because it's just like wine with other stuff. And I thought, well, I can make some and take it into the studio. So last night I got in my chemistry set and there's like vanillin, which is a bit like vanilla, I guess. So I put some of that in, and caffeine. I put some coffee in, and then there's potassium phosphate, sodium phosphate, and sodium glycerophosphate, which I don't even know how you say that properly, and I didn't have any of them, but it's got a kind of spiciness about it, so I just put in some brown sauce.
That's right. But this
It
sodium,
didn't taste too good.
what is it? Sodium glycephosphate, whatever it is 65% of this thing. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I put in a lot of HP brown sauce, and it didn't taste that good, so I didn't bring it down with me. So you'll just have to
Of course,
send to
HP
Scotland
brown
for it.
sauce is just mud sent from France with a few chemicals put in.
But people
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's not. That's a lie.
No, it's
it isn't.
very, very
it isn't.
tasty. I
It's
use
very
it every
tasty.
day. Very
nice.
Around this time of night, I usually enjoy a bottle of HP sauce.
People actually do go on pilgrimages to this abbey and come with their Buckfast t-shirts. And people who drink Buckfast, it's the only thing they'll drink, and they'll take off the labels, steam them off, and put them up on their wall, just like you used to get in the First World War.
Is it not the only thing they can afford?
Yeah,
Is that the why they drink
They
it?
can't afford wallpaper. They spent it all on Buckfast and pilgrimages to little abbeys in Devon.
I thought we should do a little tasting session of it.
Good idea.
In fact, I don't think we've done an alcohol tasting since the second programme we ever did. Do you remember? We had Harry Hill
Success.
and we had the beer hunter who was at this
We should have
programme.
got Jancis
Michael
Robson.
Jackson, he was called.
He was called Michael Jackson.
Right,
Right, okay. then.
Mine's a little sniff.
Right.
Smells nice bouquet.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, right. All right, let me have a go.
Yum.
Right.
Your turn, Lard.
I'll have a go now.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to. We're supposed to spit it out.
Supposed to spit it out? Sorry, I blew that, didn't I? Yeah, can I have a look at the bottle?
Okay.
Anyway, so it's a very popular drink, is it? This
Yeah.
in your neck of the woods.
It's just like, it's like a religion, and I suppose it's kind of appropriate, but...
Lard, you don't need a pint.
It's a bit much. Anyway, there's even songs about Buckfast, and I thought I'd like to sing one for you tonight.
Oh, right. So a bit of Buckfast
Yeah,
karaoke now, is it?
It goes like this.
Okay.
Tune slightly familiar. What do you get when you drink the wine? A £10 fine and a year's probation. Then you get a kicking in the police station. I'll never drink the wine again. No, I'll never drink the wine again. Thank you, Burt Bacharach. Cheers.
Oh, lovely. Douglas Stewart, Buckfast karaoke. And what do you think? It's quite nice.
What makes me all warm inside?
David Thomas, a.k.a. Crocus Behemoth. It's a good name, that, isn't it? A good word, Behemoth. All right there, lad.
Not bad.
Struggling, stay with it. Blumminette, lad, do you mind? I mean, we've just been having a fantastic advert for the Best Kept Secret.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
you're spoiling it. Lay off that wine, will you? For
Good stuff.
Right, time. Thanks, Douglas, for bringing that. Smart move. Smart move. Chocolate, you in underpants, and a bottle of wine. I mean, that's his dream date. I mean, if you follow us, do the things that we do.
Well, you're bound to go far.
End up two sad old men on the radio at night in the graveyard shift. Right, I'm indebted to Neil Griffiths. Well, not indebted, really. That's a bit strong. But anyway, Neil Griffiths from Swinton in Manchester has written to me from the local paper in Salford here. And this is, it's actually a bit visual, this, which is unfortunate because we're on the radio. But anyway, this is a fascinating local news story called Fewcumber. Do you get it?
No.
Fewcumber. It's good. Yeah. And it says, whopping. Marjorie and Douglas Barclay couldn't believe their eyes when they found their 22-inch cucumber. And there's no short way around this. I'll have to read it. Gardeners Marjorie and Douglas Barclay were in for a big surprise when they came to reap their harvest of ripe vegetables. They knew the recent warm weather had done wonders for their crop, but were amazed when they came to gather their cucumbers. One of them stood out from the rest and was certainly the biggest either gardener had ever grown. When they measured it, they found it was 22 inches long and 6 inches in diameter. This is the good bit. Not a Guinness record, but the Barclays believe it is the largest ever grown in Weast, if not the whole of Salford.
Whoa!
Which is, I think, a fantastic...
I think there was a bigger one once in Bellsill, but
well, yeah, but not in the whole of Salford.
No.
I think they're very safe there. But the other thing that Neil has sent in, there's these two gormless coffin dodgers with this cucumber, and they've got their gobs open there.
Allegedly.
Not a tooth inside. And he says, notice the similarity. Remember the Roswell incident? And he sent a picture of the Roswell alien having its autopsy there. And indeed, it's hard to disagree. Incidentally, now this is thanks very much.
He didn't mention me in his letter, did he?
He didn't mention you, no. But anyway, if anybody's got the Roswell incident, that UFO thing where they're doing that autopsy, if anyone's still got that on tape, will they send it in? I'll look after because I haven't seen it, and I want it was on holiday, and I want to borrow that. So send your tape in to lend tapes to me, BBC Radio 1FM, Oxford Road, Manchester, M61SJ, and I'll send it back, and also with a fantastic prize.
And if you've got any copies of last week's bill, I did miss that. If you could send it to me.
And Anita Lane actually is on one of the tracks on this McCarvey EP, which is all games. But Lard, for goodness sake, I mean, we've only got 2 bottles.
Sorry, Arkin.
Right, anyway, Douglas Stewart of the BMX Bandits, our Scottish correspondent, is with us this evening. And you want to talk about the film industry?
Yeah, that's right, because recently the Scottish film industry, not just the British film industry, has had a bit of a boost with the kind of rotten Rob Roy film and the sort of quite good Braveheart film.
Which was done in Ireland because of the tax breaks.
Part of it was done in Scotland,
right.
But all the soldiers in it were the Irish Army.
Right.
And also, of course, there was Shallow Grave, which was made last year. Yeah. And this year, the same company are making Trainspotting, which is a really great Scottish novel.
Right.
You read that?
No, who's it by?
Yeah. Your Scottish correspondent knows this, but that's my competition for tonight.
Oh, right.
To win a bottle of Buckfast. Who wrote Trainspotting? Because I know.
Yes, of course, yes. And so does Lard.
He didn't come from Bellsill, but I do know.
Right, okay then.
And the other thing that's been happening is there's been so many great stories happening in Scotland that are just dying to be made into films. Like Brian McKinnon becoming Brandon Lee. That was
this is the
big story.
Schoolboy, right?
Yeah.
Who was 32 and pretending to be 17.
Yeah, I mean, that's crying out to be made a movie. This, for anyone who doesn't know, Brian McKinnon used to go to a school called Bears Den Academy, and he didn't even choose...
It's a good name for a school, isn't it?
Same school probably as Edwin Collins, I would think, and Stephen Pastel, and possibly Stephen Daly, because they all come from Bears Den.
Stephen Pastel, what were you going to say?
No, Stephen Pastel went to that school.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Stephen Pass the Wine Daly. I thought you were going to say.
No, Stephen Pastel actually was in Brian McKinnon's class at school, I discovered first time round, not this time, because he's a bit older than that.
Yes.
And it's just such a great story to make into a film. You'd probably have Hollywood like Michael J. Fox, because he was playing 17-year-olds when he was about 35 anyway.
Yeah.
So he'd be ideal casting. And well, anyway, this guy, he went back to school because he wanted to be a doctor and he wanted to go to medical school. So he went along 32 years old and said, "Hi, I'm only 17 and my name's Brandon Lee."
Yeah.
Which sounds very believable. And you've even got photographs of him here. I mean, does this guy look 17? No.
I wouldn't have thought so, really. It's hard to tell, isn't it? It's all in the complexion, really, I always think, don't you?
I've been doing a bit of research on this one, to find out how easy it actually is to go back to your own school and get in. And so I kind of went along, hello, I'd like to come back to school. No, I didn't say I wanted. I'd like to get into the school, and they gave me a job as a janitor. So, so I'm starting tomorrow.
Nice. Well, it's nice to have a. So it's nice to have a trade to fall back on, isn't it? In show business.
And another great story that happened in Scotland. Again, I'm going to write scripts for these if no one else is going to take them up. Is the one about the Scottish laird who was actually an accountant for the Metropolitan Police. It happened a little while ago. Right. And he was robbing
the village, didn't he?
Yeah, he was robbing all this money from the Metropolitan Police.
Allegedly, was he? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
he's been jailed for it.
Right.
And so it's like a sort of revealing comedy type scenario, like Alec Guinness. You could have had him.
That's a perfect one, actually, isn't it?
He's a mild-mannered accountant during the week, stealing all this money off of the cops, and he owns this village in Scotland where he's a kind of local hero. And now they've even got a wine, funnily enough, not Buckfast. They haven't just stuck another label on it, named after him.
Right.
And
it's called Robin Bastard, the wine.
Right. It's nice. They get Buckfast Abbey wine and just add some chemicals to it again.
All these people, but
37%
saying this bad stuff about these people, but to me, they're like, I think it's kind of quite heroic. If you're going to steal off anyone, you steal off of the police, you know.
Oh, we were talking about this, about Brandon Lee, and just saying that, like, it must have been fantastic being at school age 32. Like, he must be effortlessly topping everything, and, like, everybody would want to go out with you, and he's like, it must be brilliant.
The thing I love most of all is, he was trying to keep a low profile, and he got a leading part in the school musical of South Pacific.
South Pathetic, yeah, he did.
It's just so great.
Yeah, well, no, I think you're right. Those are crying out to be done.
And there's also a new season of the Tartan Shorts, and last year, Tartan Shorts, Franz Kafka, It's a Wonderful Life by Peter Capaldi won an Oscar, and this year they're going to make a film called A Catholic Education, which is, of course, a Teenage Fan Club album title and song title.
Leading us neatly too.
And my Tartan Shorts, which I'm wearing tonight.
Not again.
Royal Stewart Tartan. I've got the shorts on tonight. Right. Oh, sorry, I know. Yeah, Norman Blake of Teenage Fan Club, this is a link, has had a baby.
Okay, well, we'll play September Girls.
Let's have a toast, actually.
We'll have a toast and then we'll play September Girls. Give it
toast to Norman, Krista and little baby Rowan.
Another splurge of the Buckfast.
Cheers, Norman, Krista and Rowan.
Cheers, Norman, Krista and Rowan. Okay, well, that's for you. Douglas Stewart is still with us. You're looking pretty excited, Douglas.
Yeah. Well, Lard's got yet another letter for me.
I have, yeah. It's from Claire Henshaw, and it starts, Dear Anyone. So you're all excited, aren't you?
Claiming that.
And it says, I have a story for you. It's not particularly interesting, so bollocks to it.
That's my lair. What do you mean bollocks to it?
It's not very interesting. She'd miss it herself.
I'll get her address and write a personal reply.
Right, nice one.
Dear Claire, thank you for your fan letter.
Okay. More or less it for tonight. You got any gigs coming up, Douglas?
No, but if anyone wants to write to me, I'll try and write back, but I do get a lot of mail. The sacks are literally bulging.
Right, okay then. Have you got any gigs planned, Lard?
No.
Right, thanks for whoever's phoned in and said they'll send me a tape of the Roswell incident on video. I'll look after it and I will send it back.
Is my bill on the way?
I wouldn't have thought so, and I will send you something to show my appreciation. On next week's programme, Great Moments in Pop, Ian McCulloch reading from Geoffrey Chaucer. On Monday, live session from the Big White Stairs, poetry from Jules. On Tuesday, the Monkey Boy, Mark Lamar. Wednesday, Mark Kermode's Cult Film Corner. On Thursday, Stephen Daly from New York, Stop It. And also the King of the Small Lads, Stuart McInerney. Thanks to the team, that's Patty, Phil Newboy, Liz, Lard and Genial Joe. And there's still an effort from all the people on the knobs this week. Nico Bobinus, Dark Prince, Magic Dick and Smithy. Claire Sturgis is next. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Douglas.
Thank you.
And Lard.
Ta.
Now.
And that's the end of another radio broadcast from Manchester. Not one of their best, was it?
Mark Radcliffe in the pub already.
Yeah.